What is up, YouTube and traders from around the world? It's Robert Falco back again from Real Life Trading with your Friday stock review. First of all, before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click that bell notification, and like the review if this information helps you out. And then in the comment section, you can go ahead and comment on what stocks you want to see reviewed next week, or how you're feeling about any of these stocks that I'll be quickly reviewing for you all today. So let's start with the SPY. So we did actually have a little bit of a bearish day out there. I know it came out that the Federal Reserve, two Federal Reserve presidents, Kaplan out of Dallas and Rosengrad, I think he's out of Boston, somewhere back east. But apparently they have been trading pretty heavily, not just individual stocks, but ES future contracts. So that's pretty interesting. And now they are going to go ahead and sell, for ethics reasons out there. We're also near an all-time high, and they're going to start tapering probably here pretty soon. So it looks like that news, pretty much hit yesterday. We had a gap up and then a little bit of a rollover. We did play SPY down here on this bounce. Got shaken out of the initial trade. This was like some Biden China news. And then Apple we'll talk about. Got spiked out here. I re-entered and then played this back up into the volume weighted average price and exited. So I was small green on the day with battling back there. And then I could have actually taken this rollover right here, but I wasn't really paying attention to the market at that point. But yeah, SPY rolling down a little bit. And again, into this trend line pretty much. If we hit the 50, I do think it's buyable. I would actually really like us to come to the 100 down here, or potentially even fill this gap all the way down at 400. But who knows if that's actually going to happen or when. I mean, at some point it probably will. It would be nice to have a 10% pullback, but we'll see. So I did buy a put on SPY to just hedge a little bit, and I have like one bear call spread out there and some covered calls for some negative delta. But other than that, I do think that these dips are buyable. The Qs definitely had a rollover today as well. At one point, it felt like this thing was going straight down into the close. So that was pretty interesting on the Qs. But again, I do think that longer term, any of these dips are buyable. Just again, don't buy like too much because we are pretty darn high. So, you don't want to have like a 2-3% pullback and then you spend all your dry powder or all of your buying power, right away on everything out there. So it does look like we could have a little bit of bearish continuation next week. But if we do gap up on Monday, I mean, heck, we could just end up running. However, next week is options expiration. There's a lot of long gamma coming off the table, and then with that Fed news, I don't know. Maybe we're in for a little bit of a pullback. We'll see. ROKU. I know we covered this the other day. There's a lot of folks looking at ROKU. I think ROKU's in trouble, team. I mean, this close below this bull candle right here, we retested. So we broke below the long-term moving averages. We retested both of them. We failed immediately. We really needed a bounce here, and we closed below this. So I think ROKU is a short, at least down into 300, potentially like 275 to 280. So I'm not actively shorting it right now, but I think there is a possibility for that on a small retest, or if we gap down, push higher, and then end up rolling over. Otherwise, you're buying pretty small up here, I would imagine. Also looks like it could be forming a giant double top on the weekly and the monthly, and Roku's just had a heck of a run. We know Amazon's coming for them, CTL TVs, or they're gonna have the Samsung TV thing on them on their flagship product. So they have a lot of competition coming. So I do think Roku could have a little bit of a pullback here. Hopefully you're in protection if you are long a bunch of Roku. Apple. So this was one of the catalysts that started the selling today. Huge down day on Apple, 3.3% on the biggest, baddest company in the entire world. This is a big pullback. I guess they lost their battle with Epic Games. I don't think this will have a too much of a fundamental impact on the company, I think it generates like 2 to 3% of their revenue from the specific changes that they'll have to make to the App Store. However, it's just a change in story. They also have their Apple event on Tuesday of next week, the 14th. Generally, Apple's like a buy the rumor, sell the news. And so if we do get to sell the news on that event, we could pull back here. I actually would love a pullback into like 137. So this prior high over here, this prior high, this high, and then we're right around the 100 as well. Obviously, I think Apple is a buy the dip. They make, I don't know, $30 million a minute or something crazy like that. But Apple does have a bearish day out there. I also played this for a quick day trade. I didn't make a ton on this right around here. You know what? There's no way Apple is going to just continue to plummet. We're going to have some type of retest. And I got in long here with a stop down here. And then I ended up getting trailed out over here for like a very, very small gain. I didn't expect that we were going to go green or anything, but tried to play the bounce a little bit on Apple. And Apple, that's a pretty bearish day. So I think it's in for a little bit of a pullback, maybe one inside day, or if it gaps down to the 50, you could fade it up for one day, but then I do think that we roll back down. Upwork, however, I think Upwork looks pretty good. It traded into the support. It bounced. It ran right into the 50. It's also right at the 200. The 100's right above it. I do have a covered call for next Friday at $50. I got put some shares at $42.50 with a dollar cost average of like 40.80. Like $40.80 or so. And then I sold this. I think I sold this for 50 cents, maybe 55 cents, 60 cents, something like that. This covered call for next Friday, but I think Upwork looks pretty good. However, I don't think we want it to break this low. I definitely would buy protection if we broke back below that 39.51, but I think it's just going to chop around up here. But overall, I think Upwork looks good. I'm long, not a huge position, but I am long some shares. A firm, this was a massive gap today, and it had great continuation. I know that they're doing a deal with Amazon, a partnership, and I also know that their competitor from Australia, PaySafe, I think it is, got bought by someone, and then another buy now, pay later company out of Japan got bought. So there's also, not only did they crush earnings and they have the potential partnership with Amazon, there's speculation that this thing could get bought out next. And that's why you continue to see this one have a bullish follow through. I mean, it's up 34%, so I wouldn't buy now. But if there are some pullbacks on this thing and you want to set your stop, somewhere in this gap, then I definitely think that that's doable for a bullish trade on a firm. And if you're in, congrats. You probably either want to trim, trail, throw a collar on, lots of those types of strategies. If you don't know how to hedge your position with options, definitely check out reallifetrading.com or watch. We have a ton of videos on it too for free. But if you want a little bit more hand holding, you can always check us out at reallifetrading.com. Disney. So I know that Disney is a fan favorite out there. Lots of movies and Disney Plus, a lot of excitement. I'm excited when Baby Yoda comes back. I think that's going to be this fall. So we're getting closer. But Disney is consolidating in here. You do have the 100 and 200 crossing. So I think this is dip buyable. I wouldn't go super heavy. I would really like it to fill this gap, which it almost filled there. It attempted to. I'm not sure if that happens, though. I really don't know. I do know that with the parks and with the Delta variant and Lambda, Epsilon, Mu, I mean, we're going to go through the whole Greek alphabet probably. We'll see what happens. The parks, if they have lackluster attendance, then that could end up hurting Disney. However, I do think with the streaming, they've had such success with that could end up helping carry Disney. So I would buy small, but definitely buy on pullbacks. And, Disney, if you're in long term, I'm not sure you can go real wrong with Disney. I think there was a rumor about them buying someone today. and I forget who it was, but possible acquisition out there for Disney. So that's it for your Friday stock review. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Don't forget to love life, live life, trade it, and comment down below with the stocks you would like me to review next week. Thanks. Have a great night.